It just came up in a lot of self-help books. So I've been intrigued and learning a little bit about it. So it's exciting to pick your brain as a master to see what you can teach me and my audience and how we can utilize it in our personal and business growth.
There's a couple other really important points to that. And there's something called divine timing. You to put this much, of the ingredient into the recipe, or don't do that, or just it can be simple, but the more you acknowledge it, the stronger it gets and the more it comes.
Hi, I'm Yegi. I'm an entrepreneur and success coach who wants it all. Family, luxury, career, and the freedom to do whatever I want, whenever I want. And I'll do whatever it takes to get there. I created the Yegi Project to document my journey and inspire others to do the same. My mission is to change the world by influencing and leading others to do what they love and live fulfilled lives.
Hello. Welcome back to the Yegi Project. Today's honored guest is Kelly S. Jones, who is a transformational coach, healer, author, and speaker with over 25 years of experience. She helps people bridge the human and the divine, which is a topic that can be confusing or new to some of our audience. What is the divine actually, right? So let's dive in right from there. Kelly, tell us, who are you and what do you do?
I'm one of you. Thank you for having me here.
Are you a wizard?
Well, yeah, I guess in a way.
In a way, right?
In a way. Yes, exactly. Right. So I think a simplified way of saying it would be the metaphysical, right? So we've got the physical that we know, but then we've also got the metaphysical. We've got the seen and then we have the unseen. We have our human self and then we've got our spirit.
Right? Yes, and I'm so intrigued to speak to you about this because I've been introduced to all the books with manifestation and the meta field and getting into like the meditative state, accessing certain things. So I've learned a little bit about it along trying to study of how to be successful. It just came up in a lot of self-help books. So I've been intrigued and learning a little bit about it. So it's exciting to pick your brain as a master to see what you can teach me and my audience and how we can utilize it in our personal and business growth. So please tell us your background. How did you get into your field?
Well, actually, before I answer that question, I want to answer one you didn't quite ask, but you alluded to.
Yes.
And right, because I think it's really important, right? Where the self-help books, the understanding really how this world works. There's a great book, The Game of Life and How to Play It. So it just tells you right away, right? There are
I've read it.
Have you? Okay,
Yeah.
it's a great book, right? And there are rules, but they're spiritual rules. They're not our human-made rules and guidelines. And so there's a concept, if you will, be, do, have. So the whole idea is that we're working and operating first from our state of being, our consciousness, and our consciousness determines the experience that we have. And so one of the things I do, which I'll backtrack and tell you how I got started in a second, is the Akashic Records. And the Akashic Records, I use a sacred prayer to access one's life records. It's the recording of our soul's journey ever since we individuated from source. And it allows me, that sacred prayer allows me to shift my brainwave consciousness. It's been scientifically actually proven to do so. So our waking alert state is what we call beta. And then as we meditate or we calm our central nervous system, let's say even what we're taking in from the outside, the visual, the sensories, right? Then we move into alpha state. So that's more meditative. That's allowing us to access the field of energy that is around us that we're not always sensitive to in our go every day, right, state of being. And then there's the theta, which is really a level where healing can take place also. So the Akashic Records access the subconscious, which is the field around us, and the superconscious, which is really at the level of soul, higher self. So we really want to identify the state of consciousness we want first, align with that, and then go toward whatever it is that we're anticipating, not with any, and this is the hard part, right, is to identify what is it within me that is actually operating against what I'm saying I want. Those have to be resolved within ourselves. Once it is, then we're full fully able to engage and move forward.
Yes. Can you talk a little bit more about the science that supports our, the spiritual journey, not journey, sorry, the spiritual field? Because there's been a lot of studies and scientists have proved that it exists, right? Because a lot of our listeners initially, when we hear, I've never heard of the term Akashic Records. I've never heard that term and I've been reading books. So I'm like, what is this? And initially, when you hear it, you may feel like taboo or just very strange, right? Because it's not something that you just sit down on the table and talk about with the average person. There are a lot of people talking about the spiritual world more now and how we can access it and how we can use it to help us be who or have the life that we want to be. But can you make it a little bit more can you explain it in a way where, in layman's term, where people can understand it and be open to learning more about it?
Let's go to just some basics. And there's so many things I could say right now that are running around my head. Number one is I've always said that science, and it's true, and it's actually happening, is that science is going to prove God. God doesn't
Yeah,
need to be
they
proved.
are. It sounds crazy in a way when if you don't know anything about it, but yes, like I've heard all the studies, and I think it's just mind-boggling.
Right. And the mind that needs that proof is really the left brain, right? The left brain goes into the logic. It's the right part. It's our action. It's our movement forward. And it's like, I need to have proof. Show me, right?
Yes, why? Why are we like that? Why are we built this way?
Well, that's kind of the duality, right? We're living in a world of duality. We have the right, the right brain and the left brain. So we have the intuitive side as well. And it's our imagination. Okay. So we're using science to prove what imagery provides us. And we even had Einstein, right? Proving everything is energy, E equals MC squared.
Yeah.
So science has been proving the quantum field this whole time, right? And
Yeah.
so the quantum field is where, and it's directly related to the Akashic Records, which is, it's like everything and nothing. Energy has information in it, and the field has energy and information in it. So we're able to gain information by looking in a certain direction. So science has even shown that as well, right? Something moves from a wave to a particle, from a non-existent state to an existent state, to physical matter, by our attention, by our focusing, by our looking in that direction. So it's really fascinating because we think that I'll believe it when I see it. But the truth is we see it because we believe it. That's
Oh.
why we start with the beat. That's why we start with the vibration that we're wanting to experience. And then we need to hold steady with that and not allow it to falter in order to bring it. And the reason things don't come into manifestation really fast, sometimes they do, but oftentimes it doesn't, is because we are in a third dimension and because we actually have some doubt.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that's a huge part of it is we can say something, but if we don't actually believe it and that doubt is holding us back. I personally have experienced in my life with things working out that way. It just doesn't, I know I don't 100% believe what I'm saying. But
Right.
once I do, or I say it enough where I finally do believe it, it does become a reality, or I find a way somehow it does happen.
And there's a couple other really important points to that. And there's something called divine timing, right? So we have an astrology chart. We have a soul plan on what life lessons we're here to have, when certain things are to happen. And what's stored, for example, in the Akashic Records is our past, our present, and our potential future. And the past can hold, which is interesting because there is really no past. There's only now, but we have the experience of the past here. So we have an experience of having, let's say, past lives. And in those past lives, they can hold what some people call, the Hindu, the Sanskrit term is samskaras. So they're wounds, let's say, and they hold memory. And so if I have guilt, or I have resentment, or I have some emotion or experience and memory that's unresolved, it's stored in the Akashic Records. It's stored in our DNA. And if we bring that in to this lifetime to solve, then we may not recognize, right? Because the veil drops. And we may not recognize, oh, you meet somebody and you go, why do I have a rub with this person? I just met them. How is that even possible? But there's a past life connection. There's an opportunity to heal something. And so it's now time. It
Mm,
gets very
it's
fast.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fascinating. And honestly, personally, I've had like these downloads of information. I call it my intuition. I've had that in my life many times and I didn't know what it is. I still don't quite understand what it is, but I've known for sure that somehow I'm getting this information and for sure I believe it, but I don't know what it
Right.
is, you know? And it's been mind blowing and it's just you're so sure, right? You're so sure. And I don't know
Yeah.
if everybody has experienced this, but I have, and it's like kind of magical. And I'm like, I don't know what it is, but it's kind of crazy. So I just, you put it aside. You don't really think about it much, but you're like, okay, I just know. Like, I just know I'm meant to be doing this and this, or I just know, I just know this is the time for me to take this action, or something just doesn't feel right about this decision. So, how can we kind of access our intuition, or what is that I've experienced? Do you have more information you can share? Is that part of that records you're speaking of? Um, yeah, let's start there.
So you're connected with both your soul as well as your spirit team, right? So we all have guardian angels, you could call them, or guides that are always walking with us. Sometimes there's a changing of the guard. Sometimes we feel like we're left alone. We used to have information coming through, and then all of a sudden it's like radio silence, and then all of a sudden things pick back up. That sometimes we've graduated, right? And more
Mm,
information then comes. And that's actually what you're speaking to in a way. Part of it is the divine timing where it's like, I know, I don't need to guess. I don't need, and if I'm not feeling that, I know to pause. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It doesn't mean it's not going to come. It's just not yet, not now. So some people are more open and available to that. So it depends oftentimes on their childhood, right? How did things go? Were they conditioned very strongly into, let's say, religious beliefs and dogma, right? Or society? And it doesn't mean it always blocks it, but sometimes a lot of light workers have had struggles coming in, whatever form that might be, and they actually bury their gift, right? Can't take it. Too sensitive, can't take all this, input, and so shut down in order
mm,
to manage the situation at hand. And then later the gifts open up. We all have intuitive abilities. Not all of us are tuned in to go, that's what it is. So
I
that's where, right, awareness is important to go. I kind of knew that. I knew to take a right and not a left, even though the GPS was telling me something.
see.
I knew to put this much, of the ingredient into the recipe, or don't do that, or just it can be simple, but the more you acknowledge it, the stronger it gets and the more it comes.
I see. I see. Now, take us back. How did you get started in your line of work? And what can you offer the average person today with your services?
So there's something called a Saturn return at 29 years old, 28, 29, 30 years old. Are you
And
familiar with
everybody
that?
experiences that? No, I didn't know that.
Everybody has a Saturn return. Everybody has a different flavor of a Saturn return, right? So it's really about every 30 years. So for me, my dad and his mother passed away, and they were, two of my very favorite people on the planet. And it rewounded a childhood wound, which was when my parents divorced when I was 4. So it really struck me as a deep, deep loss. And I started questioning everything, and I started questioning my marriage even. And here I was with 2 young children, and I realized I was on my way toward a divorce. And I went into group therapy because I needed support. And somebody said across the room, Feng Shui. Well, I don't know about you. I knew I was supposed to hear it. I didn't know at that time, but in
Yeah.
retrospect, it's like, why did, I'm in a conversation over here and I hear something way over here, and I'm like, "Excuse me, I have to go.
Yeah. Why
Gotta
am I
go."
why am I being redirected?
Exactly. And so I realized, I asked, kind of like you with the Akashic Records. It's like, what is that? I'd never heard
Yeah.
of
So
it.
what is feng shui? I mean, we hear it. We think like initially you hear, okay, feng shui is just the way in modern day we hear it more in like interior design, right? We hear feng shui in that term. But what is feng shui?
So Feng Shui, it does improve health, wealth, and happiness, right?
I'll take
Wealth
it.
and
Teach
pros
me.
yeah, and well-being in general. So what it does it gives purpose to the design. Why am I doing this element in this location? Why am I orienting myself in space and time this way?
Like physical design. It's giving our physical things a purpose. Okay.
Absolutely. So what happens is it's like every space has an astrology chart. You could call it an astrology chart. So listen, I've studied with 5 world masters. So I have like a college degree plus in this subject. And I mean, it got more and more and more fascinating to go, wow, who knew, right? Because I was at
Yeah.
surface level, put flowers here and do, a little color there and that's it. It's like, no, 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 no. There's this big, deep science beneath. I mean, I've simplified it in the sense that I know it so well.
Do it for
But
us.
well, I can give you stories, right? So I'll give you an example. Let me just back up for a second. I need a floor plan. I need the orientation of the space and when it was built and when you moved in. These pieces of information allow me to cast a flying star chart is what it's called. That helps me see, remember we were talking earlier about the unseen level?
Yeah.
So it helps me to see an energetic pattern that we can't see with our physical eyes, but we experience.
Is
So
that why sometimes I have the urge? I'm like, this space I just want to throw everything out from this room. I'm just itching to declutter and just
can.
sometimes even start over.
It can. Yeah. There's lots of pieces, I think, in that as far as why, but absolutely. So we have the physical, right? What's the form? What do we see? We walk in the door. What do we see? Do we see the kitchen, the living room? So those things determine, so you can build everything and you can use your intuition, right? So on the form level, the intuition is a very strong element. So it's both an art and a science, right? So it's been proven over thousands of years, if I do this to this at this time, so on and so forth, here's the result. Here's what's happening. So I'll give you an example. I was working with a client and she wanted to put a water fountain outside a bedroom door. And when I looked at the energy pattern, I was like, no. And I heard spirit say to me, tell her why. I was like, okay, because I knew why, but I didn't say it out loud. And I said, okay, listen, if you put this it's Florida, right? So big water fountain. If you put the fountain outside, don't put it outside because it could create lawsuits. I said, but if you forget and you put a fountain out there and you get a lawsuit, turn it off immediately. So this is when I was seeing people in person. I don't need to anymore. I can literally do everything online and they can show me. I can see people's spaces better than they can see it and they've been in it for 5 years. It's quite fun, right?
Yeah, that's interesting because you're talking about energy. I would think you'd have to be physically in the space, but I don't know that much about it. For how it would work virtually.
Yeah, yeah, it's really, I can pick up the energy very easily, right? It's just what I've been doing for so long now. So it's like between the chart telling me what's going on, between the client telling me what their experiences are and what they're wanting to experience, and then picking up the energetic vibe to it.
So are there times when you're talking to someone you're like, I just don't want to talk to you. I don't like the
No,
energy with you or around you. Walk
no,
away.
no, because actually that means they really need my support, right?
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
that's
interesting.
That's when I dive in at another direction to go, okay, there's something we need to do. So let me
To
just finish
to
the other
fix. Okay, yes,
real,
yes.
real
I'm
quick.
very
Okay,
intrigued with everything I want to learn from you. So I'm all over the place, but it makes it
that's
fun.
okay.
So
Yeah, it's fun.
let's dial back.
So just real quick. Yeah, just real quick. So I came back around, right? Because I was doing them in person. I came back around the next year to do what's called an annual update for Feng Shui. And the water fountain was out there, but it was turned off. I was like, uh-oh, what happened? So go inside. I'm like, all right, you got to tell me the story. She goes, you're not going to believe this. We forgot you told us not to put it in. I was like, wow, I'm so glad Spirit told me to tell her,
Yeah.
if she did. She goes, as soon as we did, we like within weeks, we got lawsuits. I didn't know she was a landlord. So she got lawsuits from her tenants. Then
Oh
they
my
turned it
God.
off immediately and they all went away. I was
Yeah.
like, so
Interesting.
it proves itself to me. And
Yeah.
that's where I just go, okay, yeah, this stuff's
That's
real.
where it's valid or it's true. You're not just
Well, and
making things up.
But everything is energy, right? And there's a spirit to everything. There's a spirit of war, there's a spirit of peace, there's a spirit of health, there's a spirit of illness, there's a spirit, right? There's spirit energy all around us. So they've devised a system that allows us to look at the earth energy, right? We have heaven energy, which is our astrology. We have human energy, which is our choices and what we do. And then we have the earth energy. So it's a third of what affects our life. Don't know
Yeah.
who really wants to ignore that, right?
Yeah.
How big of an influence.
Yeah. Now, just curious, you talked a lot about energy, and how about purpose? What are your thoughts about purpose? Because a lot of times we get caught up, we get caught up in, okay, so what's my purpose? What am I doing on this planet, right? I think sometimes when people are having a really hard time with life, or if they're like not excited about anything, they want to find their purpose. What are your thoughts about that? Do we just have one purpose? Are we meant to just be enjoying the physical life and see where it takes us? What are your thoughts with how we should be living? Like what our focus should be as far as purpose?
Well, I think people get really confused on purpose in the sense that it's something that's outside of them and they have to go find. So, number one, it's not outside of you, right? Number two, there's a sense that whatever it is, I have to do. Meaning it's not it's not always going to align with me. There's something I'm supposed to do, and then I have to go do it, right?
But where do we get that idea of that's something I'm supposed to do?
Well, I mean, there's like the whole people pleasing thing. Let's just take the movement of
Yeah.
people pleasing, right?
Yeah.
So we get born into families and we're initiated into people pleasing our parents.
Yeah, absolutely.
So oftentimes it's, dad did this, mom did this, I do that. That's what I'm expected to do. And so we're really stepping into a culture, a humanity that is now becoming greatly individuated and alignment with what's true to us. And it's not something, it's all, we also have this idea it's going to be handed to us on a silver platter, as if life is not about the exploration, as if it's not about the adventure, as if it's not about the wonderment, right? So we make it a problem that we don't know. I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to do. And then, there's just all kinds of issues. And then it's a doubt and a questioning of what one is doing right now. Why isn't what I'm doing right now my purpose? Do you see?
Mm,
There's
yeah.
lots of levels here. And then, yes, you want to follow your joy. You want to follow and you want to be aware of the thoughts that say, I can't do what I enjoy. A lot of people have that, and I certainly can't do it and make money. I've heard that. And I've also heard, well, I don't want to ruin the thing I love by making money at it.
Which are all false statements.
Well, exactly, because it's fear. First of all, it's based in fear. Second of all, again, a conditioning that you have to, here's the conditioning. You have to work hard. You have to work
make
hard
money.
for your money. You have to work hard to have a physical, fit body. It's like no pain, no gain. These are all programs that we have been locked and loaded with in our life. So we're wondering, what's my purpose? If I'm not working hard, if it's not difficult, I must not be on it. I must not be on purpose.
So, what's the truth or your mentality behind, for you, in your definition, what's the truth? How should we be approaching these things of way of living?
Well, to me, I think it's what do you talk about a lot, right? Start paying attention to yourself. What do you talk about a lot? What is it that lights you up? Right? When you start, like, this stuff lights me up. I could
Yeah,
talk
it
this
lights me
stuff.
up too, to be quite honest.
Right. I could talk about this all day long, right? Consciousness, healing, transformation. It's just like rarely gets old for me, right? Yes, I need to step away from time to time, but on a regular, it's like, I'm out and about and somebody wants to talk about it. Yeah, like I'm all in, right? So is it music? Is it writing? Is it theater? Is it numbers, right? Accountants? Is it boats and sales and everything else? What is it that lights you up? And giving yourself permission to follow that that crumb trail. Where is it taking me? Where is it going to lead me? And, the universe is full of opportunities, full of variation, full of, yes ands. So you can look in one direction and there could be 10,000 things associated with it that, oh, let me now go explore. Give yourself permission to explore. Give yourself permission to not know.
Yeah.
Tell yourself it's okay. I don't know. Well, what's your purpose?
Yeah.
I don't know. Being here right now, talking to you, that's my
Yeah.
purpose.
And being curious about your options.
Exactly.
Now, my next question to you, a lot of time I've talked to a lot of people as well. What holds them back into doing what they love or spending more time doing things they enjoy is money, right? That's such a topic that people don't know how to approach, or they get stuck with, like you said, with the mentality of I need to work hard, I need to grind to make money, to pay the bills, to pay for kids, food, all that. So how does somebody approach life when they're struggling financially, or they're in debt? They've never had quite good luck with making money or making money easily. Where can they start shifting their mindset with how they earn the money?
That's a loaded question.
Yes, I know it is.
But I mean, let's just say that out the gate, right? That it's a loaded question. And there's a couple different ways that I can feel being guided to respond. So let's start here. Allow yourself not to make it wrong.
What does that mean?
Meaning you're in a struggle or financially having difficulty, you're in debt, you don't feel like you can ever get ahead, you're not sure where the next dollar is coming. Don't make it wrong.
So it's supposed to be this way if I'm in this place.
Not what I said.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand.
Right. But no, but it's good you said that, right? Because it's helpful for the audience to go, oh, and then I just want to qualify why I said what I said. Supposed to, right? Rather, it's really a state of allowance. And there's fear there because what's coming up and what you're speaking to is there's a resistance. If I name it as wrong, I shouldn't be here. This isn't right. I'm a bad person. I mean, there's all kinds of thoughts, right? I'm a bad person. What's wrong with me? I'm not good. I mean, there's a whole, right?
Yeah.
So instead, all of that is a bunch of resistance. And what that resistance actually does is strengthens the opposition, right? Strengthens the sense of what's opposing you. Okay.
So if I say, let's say I'm in a bad situation, and if I say, okay, maybe I'm supposed to be in this bad situation so I can learn something from it, or yeah, so that's kind of how I've been approaching life. So something bad happens, I say, okay, maybe I'm supposed to be in this bad situation so I can learn from it or grow from it. I don't know. So how is that mentality wrong in your opinion?
Right. And
How
I'm not trying
resisting?
Well, I'm redirecting, not naming it as wrong either, right? But here's why I'm saying that with the word supposed to. And I understand why you're saying it and how you're saying it, and I have an agreement with you. The problem with many people when they use the word supposed to, that word is loaded.
I see.
Right? I'm being punished. I'm supposed to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like I'm paying a price.
Correct, right? I'm being punished. God doesn't love me. The universe is out for me. It doesn't have my back, right? All of those things. So I agree with you in the sense that there's a lesson, right? The fact that we're triggered is telling us there's something here for us to heal. So then go look at what that is. So, and here's the fear, right?
It's
the
like
fear is
solving a mystery, right, of life, of what the divine's trying to guide us. What's the mystery? Where do I go next?
correct, right? And remember I said I brought up the past lives before.
That's very interesting. So tell me a little bit more about that, because I know a lot of people, I never fully thought about what I believe about past lives. I don't know if I believe if it exists or it doesn't exist, but without thinking about it, I've said it. Like, I feel like in my past life, I was a queen or something random like that. I've said it, but I don't know what it is and what I believe. So I'm curious to pick your brain, since you did study this and you've worked with 5 world masters. So what, initially, when you hear the term past life, what comes to mind and what can you teach us about it?
So many people speak of the past life as if it's themselves in a prior version living out another life like this. Okay. And let's say my daughter in this lifetime was my mother in the last lifetime.
Interesting.
Right. We were brothers in 10 lifetimes ago. Okay. So we do travel in what we might want to call soul families, right? Tribes, where we keep reincarnating with each other. So that's why they always laugh right around the kitchen table at Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever. It's like the family get together often has a lot of tension. Why? Because there's a lot of karma. Karma means unhealed, unresolved memory. There's a lot of karma with our family. So we come back around to reincarnate, to come live life, because why? Here is the place where we can heal things the fastest. It's not easy, but it's where it gets done. We can't leave here and have it done on the other side. We have to do it through here. So anybody that we have a tension or resentment toward or anger or unforgiveness, unless we resolve it, we will come back again to do it again.
Somehow we will. So that's what you believe in as past life. So if I have, let's say I have a bad relationship with my mom or dad, because a lot of people do. So somehow we're going to meet again in some lifetime to resolve this issue. We cannot live happily in heaven unless we resolve this issue. Is that kind of layman terms of saying what you're trying to say?
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
And-
Interesting.
And it answers a lot of questions, right? It answers a lot of questions.
So is our main lesson to try to become a perfect healed soul so then we can eventually go to this heaven people talk about and have a paradise life? Is that what we're going to just keep trying to live? Just keep coming back until we get molded into a perfect soul. I'm just
Well-
trying to understand.
Now you're taking us even quantum, right? Because this is just one school. Earth is just one school. There are plenty other places to incarnate. So now we're talking.
Boy.
So the soul is never done. We're like God, the divine, is always expanding. Our innate nature is we can't stay stagnant.
Yeah, and I
Like, we
think
might be
is that
stagnant. Yeah.
And is that why we're really unhappy when we feel like we're not accomplishing something, or once we're done, we just want to seek the next, and nothing's ever enough? That just is like our natural state.
Right. Yeah, we're always growing. We're creative, right? We're creators. We're co-creators with the divine. So we're never going to, right, don't desire anything. That's our nature. That's just the truth of who we are. We're always wanting more, and not in the egoic sense of, the hungry monster, I want more money, I need more women, I need more men. Like, not that, but more of the expression of who we are, right? Part of that, one might call it purpose, but it's our innate sense of self. And I just got reminded, you asked a question on the money piece, and this is a really important tip I don't want to forget to actually offer.
No, yeah, I think it's very important for
Yeah,
our audience.
I agree. And that is do more with less, and you'll have less, you'll have more doing less. Let me see if I can say that correctly in one fell swoop. Do more with less, and you can have more doing less.
So as far as do more with less is do more with the little amount of money you have. And then whatever a lot of more you're doing, it will eventually earn you that a lot of money.
Correct. And even if it doesn't, let's pause earn you a lot of money. You may not be, and I don't know, one may not be here to have a lot of money, but
On
to
Earth.
actually grow an appreciation of the abundance around them and appreciate how it shows up for them that may be completely different than dollars and cents.
Yeah. So I speak about that a lot. Is my ultimate goal is to make as many people as possible happy in this world. So I just
Right.
want people to just be happy, because I really do believe if somebody's happy, then they're just going to be a great influence on the people around them, and eventually everybody will be happy. So that's my goal. So, and
Yes.
of course, money always comes up with that, because a lot of times we believe, or we're conditioned, if we don't have a lot of resources, we cannot do a lot. We cannot help a lot of people or ourselves. Like, we we cannot live comfortably to be happy. So that's why I asked the money question, is because I think even for me, it's been a tricky thing. Like, I've always known I'm meant to have a lot of money so I can help a lot of people and have access to a lot. It's never been a priority to me, but something has always told me I just need to have a lot of money. And I'm laughing because it sounds silly saying it out loud, but I've just known that's been like a thing because I genuinely want to help a lot of people. And I've had my ups and downs, like with having, a lot of resources financially. And now is like the time where I'm trying to figure out, okay, what direction do I go to with trying to have that influence on people to help them, right? And becoming a mother, and my priorities changed once I became a mother. I had 4 kids back to back. I absolutely love kids, and I just want to forget everything and just spend time with them, right? And that's been kind of hard for me personally to see what direction, because I think I'm a great entrepreneur, but again, now my priorities changed. I don't really care. Like, I still love being an entrepreneur, but it's not as important as me like really enjoying those moments with my very young kids. So that's kind of where I come in with trying to figure out, okay, where does that money, fulfillment, and like purpose all come together, right? So I think this is where my questions are coming from, is because, okay, if I really focus on the entrepreneurial side, logically, initially, that's my thought, right? Deep down, I know I can make money doing anything I love, like you said. Like, I genuinely know that. But when we're faced with this life situations, and I've only known making money with running a business, now I'm like, okay, but how do I make money while spending time with my kids? A bunch of things come to mind, right? I can vlog about it. I can take them on journeys. Like, things come in mind that I can do that. And I've been pondering about it. But that's where that fear or that scary part comes in, is jumping into something totally new, right? Or letting go of something that's been making you a lot of money. So I guess I just wanted to share that background with you so you can kind of know where my questions are coming from. But again, I still have this deep knowing that I just need to have access to a lot of money and resources in order to do what I need to be doing in this world. I don't know what exactly, but I know I'm on this journey somehow. So just to put perspective on my questions. Now, going back to that, and you said you could do little, with having little, you can do a lot, and a lot. And then you can have a lot, and that doesn't necessarily mean dollar amounts. And that's something I want you to kind of focus on for our audience. So what else can that a lot mean? It could, just some things that come to mind would be the peace of, having a comfortable life, not being interrupted, whatever it could be. So how else can people look at that a lot that's not dollar signs? I guess that's my question.
Yeah, I thank you for sharing all of that. And congratulations on your family. Obviously, that's kind of the divine alignment right now for you, right? That's the focus, and that is
Yeah.
abundance, right? That's abundance
Oh
to you
yeah,
right now.
I feel
Abundance of love.
very blessed. I feel very blessed. I wake up, I'm grumpy, I see a cute little face and I light up. Or I go home, I'm tired, I see a cute little face, I'm like, oh my God, I just want to squish you and eat you.
Oh, that's incredible. That's lovely. So back to the idea of entrepreneurs and money. I would say one of the things when it comes to money is, what is the energetic of it for you, right? There's this sense of something physical, and this thing physical is going to get me something that I want. But what is the energy of what you want? Because a lot of people will put the idea of dollars in between that and what they want. Instead of focusing on what the money is going to provide, they focus on the money. You don't know how that new car might show up. You could win it.
Yeah.
You could inherit it. There's a million ways, right? That could show up. And so when people are fixated, right, that's kind of telling the divine how. Here's how you have to do it. Instead of, here's what I'd like, and you decide how.
I see.
You bring it to me the way you know is in my highest good. Not I'm right. That's the control. We're all so good at it. I mean, we really are, because we're in fear, right? We're in fear, and we believe we have to be in control of the how, and we really need to let that go. So How is my business going to be a success? I don't know, but let me keep following my joy. Let me keep doing things. And, it's interesting when it does come to, because I'm an entrepreneur. I've been one for 25, 30 years, right? So it's like, even the things that don't always feel good, because they're associated with my own business, I can move through it. So it's
Yeah.
not this idea that I have to like every single thing. That's really getting into the lower mind and this whole judgment about things versus the bigger picture, the bigger plan that you have for yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, we spoke about money, we spoke about purpose. Is there anything else that you think our audience can benefit from into tying the divine with our day to day lives as being an entrepreneur or working on our personal development?
Well, I mean, just as you asked the question, I would say prioritize. Right? Prioritize the divine flowing through you. Because the truth is we're not even here without the divine. Okay. And there's a great, I think it might even be in that book we mentioned earlier, right? God is my source, my supply, and my source, supply, support, and I also add success. When we realize none of that comes but through the divine flowing through us, why do we think it's up to us? Why do we think we have to control somebody else? And a lot of people even have that. I need you to do something so that I get what I need. And so now I'm attached even to something else
Mm,
myself. Versus, and again, letting things flow. If something doesn't happen, claim it as what the divine wants, then that wasn't the right thing. Here's a great phrase to remind yourself of. Everything is always working out for me.
I
Ev-
love that.
Right? Everything is always working out for me. So if this person cancels, that means it wasn't the right thing. It wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right person.
And
It
that's
wasn't right.
such a beautiful way of living because then you're not angry, you're not cranky. And I've been doing that for a while now, and it has really made me such a happier person. Like nothing can really make me, my kids still upset me, but that's a whole other era. I'm learning how to not control certain situations, but still be responsible for them, of making them into good humans.
Yeah.
But anyways, that has helped me a lot to just be like, okay, it is what it is. We're just gonna move on to the next thing. And it's really has made me such a happier person. And I love that you shared that. My last question to you, and again, is as you're speaking, I'm just pondering then, why as humans do we then stress out so much into trying to do something? I don't know if that's the right way to phrase the question, because if, the divine God is in control and we do have like this purpose and things are playing out as they should be playing out, that's the next question that comes to mind. So why am I, or why is this person trying so hard to make something happen? Could this make some people be more lazy in a way? I mean, I don't know if this question makes sense, but that's kind of what comes to mind. So if I know things are going to work out anyways, do I just sit back and relax and enjoy like my day to day and not worry about the future? I don't know. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, a lot's coming up with that too, right? Because it's our fear, and we've been conditioned even with that,
Yeah.
right? Like very much. I mean, I was raised in the Catholic Church, and it was very much, and here's why they took the reincarnation out of the Bible, right?
Mm,
So if you believe you're going to come back, you're going to get lazy and not do what you're supposed to do. And then all your earthly things are going to be stored for you in heaven. So suffer here, and then
I
you'll get
see.
it there, right? So that programming is, if you're not suffering, right? So we really have this mindset, I've got to work hard, I can't enjoy myself. So we don't know how to relax. One of the things the Akashic guides said to me years and years ago was slowing down the guidance, and it was for me too, right? Slowing down to move at the speed of love. Well, I've been working on that ever since. It's not easy, right? Because the conditioning is to go, 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 press
Yeah,
the
I mean, that's the
pedal.
American culture, right? Work, 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 get the house,
Exactly.
get the car. Like we're just
Right.
conditioned to try to
Right.
collect items.
Right. And then you get labeled lazy. You get labeled as you don't care. You get
Yeah, if you're
labeled
just
things.
slowing down to enjoy a afternoon, I used to have a big problem with that. I would feel guilty. Like I've been a hard worker all my life, but I would feel guilty just to sit down and watch a show for 20 minutes, I would feel guilty. That's how bad I was conditioned to be like, okay, no, you're wasting your time. You cannot just sit down. Like, you have to be doing something to be productive. I had to really learn that, hey, no, it's okay. Like, it's okay to slow down.
Yeah. That's like a little bit of the lazy river, and to embody and embrace that. Because why? It's like, I don't know why I'm being shown this example, but I am. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen a cat with fleas, right? Or they're just showing me a cat with fleas, and if you dunk them, all the fleas will come off. So the analogy is such that if we just allowed ourselves to just really sink into our being, every condition would come off of us, and then we would naturally find our rhythm. We would naturally find our way. And everybody's going to be different, right? Some people are night bird, they're up late at night, and some are up crack of dawn. Some sleep 4 hours a night. Some sleep 10 hours a night. Like, everybody's different, and everybody gets to find their rhythm and find what flows for them. Not everybody's here to be a billionaire. Not everybody's here to, be an athlete. So we're all different. And we
all have our
find-
gifts. We all
Right.
have our gifts we need to find so we can find that fulfillment. I think that's what you're
Correct.
trying to say.
And get out of judgment. Get out of judgment that somebody should be something other than what they are.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're not going to be feared of being judged for who you are.
Yeah, well, just look at it as simple as the structure of a business. If everybody was the CEO, who was going to be doing the managing? Who was going to be doing, the day-to-day? Who's going to be great on the phones with customers? We all need different talents to make a whole business run or make the whole world work. Well, thank you so much, Kelly, for your time. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. What are your last words of wisdom, and when can our audience find you?
I would say it's the slowing down to move at the speed of love. Like, times can be challenging, whether it's the financial or trying to get a business off the ground, or trying to handle 4 children all at the same time. It's like slowing down to the move at the speed of love, which is really to go into the place of your heart where you allow nothing to disturb you and where nothing can disturb you. So anytime you're feeling out of balance, go back into your heart and take a nice deep breath as well.
Okay, I thought about one last question, and this
Sure.
one might be personal for me too, but I know a lot of people can use this advice. So sometimes the people around us, our loved ones that we love and cherish, we do feel like they could affect our energy, our decisions. What advice do you have on that? I've been practicing to try to not let other people's thoughts, opinions get to me. If I know for sure, if I'm sure on my decision, I just don't even hear them. And I'm like, nope, I'm sure this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I just don't hear them out. But there are times when I do have doubt, or when we do have doubt, people can get into our heads and fully change our thought process or our decision. What is some advice you have for that, for us to be able to tune in to our intuition, or what we know we should be doing without letting other people's voices get in our way?
Well, I think when you're settled in your being about something, then you're clear. Until you're clear, right? Until you have a solid yes, it's not time to move forward. I think that would make somebody feel safe. Like, I
I
don't
see.
know. Number 2, if that's not arriving, then find people that you trust, right? To share. And it might be somebody you actually pay. Okay.
Yeah, a
And
coach
by
is a great
paying,
person to pay.
right. But I mean, to pay because number 1, they're not biased. Number 2, they don't have any skin in the game. Number 3, you can discern and make your own decisions based on wise, somebody like you might need to know about taxes and the structure of a business before you do it. And listening to your uncle who's been running his own business may be a whole different framework than what yours is. So that can be valuable. Also, having your boundaries, right? To say, I'm open to your input, but don't expect me to take it. Number 1, right? Number 2, I might just need to be heard. Would you just hold space for me while I share and air out my fears? That's all they are. I recognize them as fears, and they don't have any roots if I don't let them. And then as I hear we all know this, as I hear myself talk, I might actually come up with my own answer.
Figure it out. Yeah, that happens a lot of the times.
And journaling, by the way, journaling's another
Yes,
really good way.
yes.
Yeah.
That's a way to talk to somebody without having to tell
Exactly.
somebody everything that's on your mind.
Journal with your soul. Yeah. Exactly.
I love that so much. Well, Kelly, again, thank you so much for your time. Where can people find you?
They can find me at my website, kellysjones.net, KELLYS as in star, JONES.net.
Awesome. And we'll link everything below. Thank you to our audience for always tuning in. And until next time, bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening. Please rate and review this podcast. Follow and engage with us on social media under the Yegi Project. And if you're interested in being a guest, email info@theyegiproject.com. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes.